baseball stories that we need to update. Let's start with the action on the field yesterday. Wild game in San Diego. Fernando Tatis Jr. robbing the Mets of a home run in the fourth inning, looking to go back, and make this catch. It would prove to make all the difference as the game was tied in the bottom of the ninth when Elias Diaz came through with a walk-off single right there. Padres won it 7-6. That snapped a 7-game winning streak for the Mets. Elsewhere, Ronald Acuna Jr. hit a home run that no one was going to rob. Let's show you the Acuna Jr. home run. Okay, that one's not coming back. That's 468 feet off of Rich Hill in the third inning, fourth longest by anyone this year, his third of at least 450 feet. As for Rich Hill, he has played 21 seasons and allowed 177 home runs. This was the longest he'd ever given up. Braves won it by a score of 10-7. And then very significant, Eugenio Suarez left the game yesterday after being hit by a pitch on his right hand in the ninth inning of a loss to the Tigers. X-rays would come back negative on his hand. Suarez, as you probably know, is the #1 trade candidate, according to our Jeff Passan, ahead of the trade deadline, which is Thursday night at 6 o'clock Eastern time. And we have a bunch of matters to discuss with Jeff, who's up with us early here this morning. Jeff, let's start there. Suarez, widely considered the crown jewel of this trade deadline. How does this injury impact his value?
Greeny, this was disaster averted for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And for the teams that are still in on Eugenio Suarez, the Chicago Cubs and the Seattle Mariners are really at the forefront at this point, with the Cincinnati Reds and the Philadelphia Phillies, as well as Detroit looming. What they're going to get is a guy who just hits bombs. And Eugenio Suarez's power is not unparalleled in baseball, but at the top of the scale. And look, he's going to get some more testing done today just to make sure that his finger is okay. You see hand injuries more than anything affect power with guys, so they want to make sure that his grip strength is okay. And it could take a little while for him to get back, but at the end of the day, I think that teams understand trading for Eugenio Suarez, if his finger is not broken, is going to be A-okay, and it's something that they're going to have to pay quite a bit to do.
Okay, so that happened last night. But the reason that I said we need Passan tomorrow morning was your story yesterday afternoon about the Phillies Bryce Harper and how he apparently cussed out the commissioner Rob Manfred in a meeting last week. Take us inside. What exactly happened and what does it mean?
Greeny, Rob Manfred, after the last collective bargaining agreement was signed, decided that my relationships with players are just not good enough. So he vowed, I'm going to go into clubhouses, and has been doing that for the last 3 years. But as time has gone on, it's been less listening sessions and more talking about, okay, this is the state of the game. And the state of the game right now includes the economics in a collective bargaining agreement that expires December 1st, 2026. Well, owners want a salary cap, and Bryce Harper heard Rob Manfred sort of dancing around the topic and decided, I'm going to confront him on this. And by confront him, I mean walk to the middle of the room, holding a baseball bat, get in his face, and say, if you're going to talk about that, you can get the bleep out of here. And Rob Manfred shot back, used some curse words himself, and look, they didn't need to be separated. There were no fisticuffs, but I think the important takeaway from this, Greeny, is that Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association right now are on a collision course. And if the salary cap is something that MLB is going to pursue, then there is going to be a labor stoppage. It's as simple as that. They have some time to figure this out, but where it stands right now, Greeny, it's not great.
I was there in spring training in '95 after the '94 World Series wasn't played. I was there when the replacement players were there. I remember when the judge wound up making the ruling that wound up bringing the players back, and they won that one. And what is your sense of how this thing goes before we get to that date and the perhaps inevitable work stoppage?
I think, look, there are relations between the sides that are not great. There is a lack of trust, but there's also room to maneuver if the parties will get together and talk with one another in good faith. The problem is both sides think that the other is not there to bargain in good faith at this point. And so you're going to hear over the next year plus, Greeny, a lot of rhetoric There's going to be a lot of posturing. But I think at the end of the day, what both need to understand is that baseball's in a pretty good place, and that losing games or, heaven forbid, a whole season, because Bryce Harper during that meeting said, we are not afraid, if you're going to hold the line on the salary cap, to lose 162. They are not afraid to lose a full season. That is a terrifying prospect for everybody involved in baseball, and something that I think people who are fans of the game really hope they can get past, because we remember 1994, man, and that did damage to the game for a long time, damage that still, to fans of the game back then, they remember.
Absolutely. No, if you haven't read it yet, I recommend Jeff's entire piece on ESPN.com detailing what happened there with one of the game's biggest stars and the commissioner. Jeff Passan, thanks for getting up. We'll check in with you.